Everybody, drop your buffs.
Drop your buffs.
Everybody, drop your buffs.
Drop your buffs.
Everybody, drop your buffs.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to Drop Your Buffs podcast, where we recap the strategy, social game, and stupidity of each Survivor episode.
Yeah.
And Dion, I am not okay right now.
Why?
I am
What's
not
happening?
okay. I just watched the trailer for next week's Survivor episode.
Okay.
I watched it like 10 times.
Oh my gosh.
And guess what? Next week is my favorite episode of Survivor.
Of course it is. Of course
What
it
is
is.
it?
It's Loved Ones. It's. I've
And-
seen the clip as well.
And I had heard from like different Survivor sources, including you, about how they made it happen where survivors, not only is their loved ones coming out, but their like whole family, including their like little children, are coming out.
Yeah, so when we had Brendan on, he said that Tyson had done a podcast or a video, and he expressed how much he wanted to see his daughter on the island. So he went through all the loops in order to make it happen. And then because of what he did, he made it happen that everyone could have their little ones out there. And as we can see in the clip, there's a lot of little ones.
Oh, there's so many little children, and it was really touching, and I cannot like wait till next week.
I think, you know what? I think next week, like you and I have a very different opinion about loved ones visits. You become a bumbling mess. It makes your heart sore.
Yes.
You like, that's what you look forward to when you watch Survivor, really. For me,
Yeah.
I'm like, that's nice. What are they playing for? like I would be the loved one out there that would be like, hi, please don't say too much. I'm trying to win a game. You know, like.
Oh, I know. I feel like I would be in that mode too.
Yeah. So I don't know that I
think.
would allow myself to enjoy it. But here's the catch. Kids and animals. I think that's my kind of thing where, all right, if I saw my nieces and nephews run up to me on the island, that's it. If I saw my pet run up to me, if I saw my mother, my sisters, I'd be like, hi, it's nice to see you. Please don't say too much. Anything else, I'd be like, guys, my sister made this human. Like this is not even my baby.
This is the
But
greatest
look,
creation.
look.
Your dog would totally run up to you with a ball too.
Oh,
Like-
Benji.
Yeah, Benji would be
Dude.
like, you wanna play?
Yeah, he'd like run up and then stop for a second and then run to a bush or something and come back with like 3 balls. And you're like, how, where, why? I don't know.
Yep. That's the
Oh,
best.
God.
So man, I can't wait for that. I should record how many times I cry.
I mean, we do have an Instagram account for that. I challenge you to utilize our Instagram
I
stories
should post every time I
for
cry.
the mess that becomes of you whilst watching the loved ones visit.
And we should take a poll of like which loved one visit was the best or something. We'll do
know.
something fun for next
Well,
week.
I love making my Instagram stories and my polls and all that kind of stuff, but I probably remember every second week. So I've got to be better at that. Let's be honest. It's a
I
lot of
know.
fun. But yeah. All right. Well, before we get ahead of ourselves, which we clearly already have, we need to discuss this episode because I said this to my sister. I finished the episode. I contacted my sister back in Australia. I said,
Mhm.
how many hours until you watch Survivor? She said, maybe 3. And I said,
Oh, gosh.
okay. Because this is potentially my favorite episode this whole season.
Agreed. This was an amazing episode.
It was. So last week, I said I needed to see a blow up at camp. And it wasn't a blow up in the traditional sense that I have witnessed in past seasons. And you even brought this up to me earlier. You
Mhm.
had said that there have been iconic blow ups in previous seasons of Survivor. The one that you mentioned was which one? Oh, you said Pearl Islands, right?
Yeah, so like I was thinking about the first scene we see of the episode where Michelle and Nick are pissed.
Yes.
Like they are saying
Yes.
how much they hate everyone, and
Uh-huh.
Nick is about to blow up. And Nick is like, I'm going to go yell. And Michelle says, don't. Tony comes over and Tony says, Nick, you know how to play the games. Don't act like that. Tells him to sit down.
Infuriating me this episode. We'll get to that.
Okay. And so then I texted you and I was like, okay, let's think about past episodes of Survivor where
Yes.
people blow up at camp. When
Mhm.
has it worked? When has
Right.
it not worked? And then I think my
Uh-huh.
next strain of thought would be, should Nick have blown up? Would that have actually worked? So anyways, what are you thinking?
Okay, so it's funny because you mentioned to me the Pearl Islands moment with Sandra heading back to camp after Rupert is voted out.
And
She
she
dumps
is
all
pissed.
the fish and she's like, he got these fish. This is not for these people. They're not going to take these. And I mean, she won the season. So clearly.
So she was mad at people and she was yelling at people, right?
Yeah.
She's pissed. I think she yelled at people, but when she threw out the fish, no one saw her throw out the fish.
Right.
And the blame got put on her friend Krista.
Yeah.
And Sandra just let Krista take all the blame.
Well, I do want to hear. Okay, so this is just a fun Djon fact. So a friend of mine put up a post about the best seasons of Survivor to watch. There was a article saying, if you're a huge fan, these are the seasons. If you just want to watch a couple, these are the seasons. And it just kind of like put them through. And I kind of wrote, oh, great. I love that China is like, somebody said, if you're going to watch any season, just one season, watch China.
Wow.
Which I agree with. And then there was like 5 of them and they put these things. People were saying Kagayan. I was like, it doesn't have the same appeal to me as a lot of other people have the appeal with. It's a great season, but it doesn't stand out to me. Anyway, long story short, Krista weighed in as well because she's a friend of that person and myself. She weighed in. I don't know her personally, but I've seen her at a lot of events. And she's like, excuse me, Djon, what about Pearl Islands? And I'm like, I absolutely love Pearl Islands. I'm like, it's absolutely a standalone season. However, I'm still devastated that you took the blame.
Yeah, of the fish.
Like, right, because we saw that her best friend essentially turned on her in order to further her own game. And she took the brunt. She couldn't defend herself and she ended up going out. And we see that happen a lot, probably more in Big Brother than in Survivor.
I was thinking too. I kind of wrote down a couple notes of Big Brother examples too.
I love that our brains work the same way.
Yep.
So
I mean, Big Brother is iconic for the fights.
And the lying.
Those moments. Yeah.
The fights, putting words in other people's mouths and they can't defend themselves.
And like when you have a fight in Big Brother, it's in front of the rest of the house usually. Yeah. And there's usually a winner and there's usually a loser.
Right.
And I've heard podcasts where they talk about how to make sure that you come up on top in that situation.
Well, I mean, another blow up that we saw that is iconic, which you brought up blow ups, and I was like, season 2, Alicia and Kimmy, the finger in my face. Don't wave your finger in my face. I will always wave my finger in your face. Always. And then I can just like, in my mind, I kind of see like, I don't know if it was Elizabeth Hasselbeck, but just kind of like coming in and being like, all right, let's
awkward.
I'm sure Jeff Varner was involved.
I remember Jeff Varner in it.
You know, Jeff and Alicia are till this day, they're still very good friends. So I can imagine that he would have kind of like put himself in there and just kind of been like, I don't think they wanted the blow up at the camp, but these two people, they're like, nowadays, it's a very different thing with a blow up at camp. Yeah. You know, people watch, people don't want to get involved. People, you know, and this episode was different again.
Yeah, and you know, another example of a blow up at Survivor, I thought of Natalie Anderson yelling at John Rocker before a challenge because John Rocker's tribe had voted out Natalie's twin sister, Nadia.
Yes,
and Natalie was straight up yelling and I think calling him racist, right? Because he had a history of being racist in baseball. Sports.
Yeah, I that is ringing a bell.
History. Yeah. So when I was like thinking of these examples, I was thinking, you know, Kimmy and Alicia didn't win, but I'm thinking like there are examples of winners of Big Brother and winners of Survivor.
Yeah.
Yeah, like Josh Martinez in Big Brother. He's the one who was hitting the pots and pans.
Oh, of course I do.
And like he got in so many fights and he ended up winning.
I know.
And I'm just like, you know what? People
have I told you my Josh story as well? I have a fun Josh story as well.
Does that have to do with Hearts of Reality?
Yes, were you there?
No, but I heard about it afterwards.
Oh my gosh. So for our listeners at home, Hearts of Reality is a wonderful event that takes place in Florida. Fingers crossed it still goes ahead this year because after everything that's going on, we need a vacation with a lot of reality TV people and a lot of fun. This moment, there was a group of Survival Challenge contestants in a hotel room enjoying ourselves. And we were like, I guess in the bedroom, just kind of like hanging out. On the
from
bed.
what I heard is that you guys were just like all like 7 of you were like on the bed at the same time.
Yeah.
And you guys were just chilling, but it was like a very weird visual.
Yeah, so we were all just like hanging out the bed. There was multiple of us just sitting on this bed, just talking. And then all of a sudden we hear a door open. And I don't even know if we heard the door or if we saw the person enter the room, but Josh from Big Brother walks to the room and goes, I think I'm in the wrong room. Why the door was open to get into the hotel room.
Yeah.
I think we were waiting for someone. We left it open. He probably saw a door ajar, was told by somebody else, come up to our room, blah, blah, blah. He ends up in our room and he's like, I think I got the wrong room. And we're like, well, can we take a photo with you? So we've got this picture of all
where
of
he
us
jumped on the
bed.
bed. Yeah.
And he's just there, and then he's like, okay, I think I'm gonna go now. We're like, okay, bye. But that was our Josh moment. Like, it's just like,
It's so
where in the
good.
world does this happen that just like some random Big Brother contestant just ends up in your like hotel room and you're just like, all right, selfie. Like,
And the visual of like 7 of you just like on a bed, like, oh, hi.
We were laughing so much that I think in the picture, it just looks like we're crying because it was the funniest thing that we had encountered that whole weekend. But yeah.
Okay, so back to the blow up. Speaking of Josh, so do you think there would have been any benefit for Nick yelling at camp? Like he wanted to do?
Not at that point, no. I just don't think, I think that a blow up helps if you have people on your side, which is a hard thing to kind of say because you want to be able to blow up in order to get people on side. But if you're already on the outs, it just gives people more to kind of, and here's the thing, do you do it straight away or do you do it 3 days later when you can potentially go home like right before the vote? And I think that's what we saw happen for someone else where they did their blow up at the end and it may have just been like, you're playing with so much fire. Like, it was just, this was, it's a top and tail episode. Top and tail being like the start to finish, like it was blow up at the front, blow up at the end. Amazing episode.
Well, see, okay, here's the thing though. Nick didn't blow up. He was about to blow up. He only blew up to Michelle, to Tony, but he reined it in. And I would have the argument that
he should have blown up.
He's on the outs. He is very aware that no one is filling him in with a plan. He's so pissed about it. And, so the reason why he doesn't blow up is he's like, okay, maybe I can ingratiate myself. I can do this.
Yeah.
But we see that he doesn't.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, you know what? Well, he was told Adam, and they voted Adam, so he did get ingratiated. But I would say that if he really feels like he's on the outs, he is going. He could. Let's think this through. He could go back to camp and pick one person to hardcore throw under the bus and be like, Tyson, you're the one who told me the opposite name. You were lying straight to my face. Tyson, who else are you lying to? You just come in here and you're just playing with me. And instead of yelling at everybody to make everybody pissed, he'll just, and also this is like another tangent off of this thought. My brain is like working in so many circles right now.
I love it.
But this is way, way rabbit trail.
Okay.
One of my favorite strategies that I've seen is Michelle on Big Brother 18. Big Brother 18 was the first like Big Brother season. Meech. The first season I got back into Big Brother was 18. And she did something which I believe was not on purpose, but it worked out really good for her. Is she told everybody that her target was this girl named Bridget. No one cared about Bridget. Who cares about her? But everybody knew that Meech hated Bridget and Meech wanted Bridget out.
Yeah.
So you know what? That actually made Meech not a target at all. Nobody's going for Meech because they're like, oh yeah, Meech wants Bridget out.
She's got her,
So Meech is not coming for me, so we can keep her around. So if Nick decides to throw someone like Tyson under the bus and be all about Tyson. Of
then
course,
like,
then,
Nick's Tyson on the brain.
Yep.
Let's not worry
We'll get
about
Tyson
Nick.
later. Yeah. So that's my thought about when or why to blow up at camp. I think it's when your back is against the wall.
I do like that tactic because I do think it's valuable when people know that you have something against someone. So all of your focus is going to be on that one person. That means that your focus isn't on that person directly. So like if I told you I've got something with someone else, you're not going to be worried that I'm coming after you.
Exactly.
But in saying that, this is also the question of, do you go to rocks? And it's like, the comparison being, if you're already on the bottom and there's a chance that you're just going to go next round, do you try to get the power back by going to rocks this episode, or do you just save yourself one round and then go out next round?
It's kind of like the going all in poker. It's just like, I'm going to go this way and I'm going to give it all.
Right. And so for me, I'm an advocate for going to rocks because chances are if you are in the bottom and you don't go to rocks now, then you're going home next. Like, that's it. Or you get further in this game, but you're not going to get there with the right people, with the right strategies. So you're not going to win. So it's like sometimes you need to do the thing that seems drastic because you know what? I'd rather go out now, get some food, enjoy myself, or go to the edge and just kind of like not have to worry with this strategy. In saying that, sorry, I just realized we need to speak about the edge as well. So shall we jump into the edge? I like starting these episodes with the edge because here are my thoughts honestly with the edge. Every time I watch the edge segment and then we end up back to the real game, I have this kind of like, that's right, there's another game going on. But in saying that, then very quickly I'm like, oh yeah, but this game's amazing. But
so
I love
you kind
the
of miss
edge.
It. Yeah, wow. I mean, I'm loving it too.
Like for me, it's sorry, just to button it. It's like the edge for me is a different show that I'm here for as well.
Oh, I see what you mean.
You know, it's not the Survivor that I know, but whatever this show is, I want to watch it as well.
Yeah. Nothing like watching people suffering.
Like, but even just
going
like
on scavenger hunts.
Yeah, like the moment of like panning in on the girls doing yoga at the start and just watching their silhouettes on the beach, like aesthetically it's beautiful. Watching what they're going through, like you can almost see inside their brains with the editing and how they're piecing it together. You get to see, like, I don't know that a lot of people have acknowledged, but we get to see Danny and Parvati working together again, which is really nice for me. Like,
I didn't think about how they ended on Danny's vote out. They ended on really bad
Danny
terms.
not trusting Parvati. And like now Danny's like confiding in Parvati. Parvati's finding this clue because of Danny's information. And then not only sharing it just with Danny, but then deciding to share it with everyone because she's got a heart and she feels bad for the people that have been there longer. And like we had Brendan on and he was like, I don't understand why people on the edge aren't trying to convince other people to quit. And it's it seems like more of a bonding experience than it is a polarizing experience. You know, you're all at the low of lows. Are you going to like really feel better about getting people to quit? Or do you want to get these people to vote for you at the end? Like, that's my thing. My pitch was be on their good side. That way, when you're sitting there at the end, when you get back into the game, you can get their votes.
Exactly. But so like obviously you're winning people's votes, but I was very disappointed in Parvati and Danny sharing. I mean, taking the tokens and buying food for everyone, which we didn't see, but we heard that's what they're going to do.
Right.
I just want them to think clear enough. They both just lost the challenge to go back in, and they should be thinking, okay, I need to get tokens for the next challenge to have an advantage, because they had the opportunity to buy 3 advantages. So they could have spent 3 fire tokens to get 3 advantages, and they each, I mean, Parvati didn't have any, did she? Danny had 1 advantage. Anyways, they should be thinking about,
because technically speaking, even if the 2 of them found them, they got 4 tokens. They could have split it 2 and 2.
Yeah,
they didn't have to tell anybody that they found anything. I mean, Rob ended up finding 3 and not telling anybody. You know. So
I was just, I understand that they're hungry, and you cannot overstate the bond that those people have on the edge, which is the reason why it's not a good game mechanism, because they are also the jury. But I really would have loved for them to save those tokens for themselves for a challenge. And this is where we see the buddy system once again from Boss and Rob, the buddy system for everybody to have a buddy so they can keep track of each other.
Was it Boss and Rob's plan or was it Natalie's plan? Because Natalie said that she wanted Yul and Wendell to go off so they could weigh in. And from what the girls were saying, Parvati and Danny, it sounded like they didn't want to share their food with Yul and Wendell, which is really funny because Wendell
I bet they're not going to.
Feast. Well, maybe they're not, but Wendell got a merged feast, yet Yul didn't. And apparently being in the game, you get fed more than being on the edge. Like, that's how bad the edge is.
Yeah.
Like, just because you were still in the game 3 days ago. Yeah, 3 days ago. I mean, Wendell just went out, but because you were in the game 3 days ago, you've been in a better spot than
Fed
us.
better.
How?
Yeah.
This is Survivor. How
I know, the
badly are
edge-
they getting treated on the edge?
Oh gosh. Enough for Sandra to hear 1 second of it and go, I'm out.
Yeah, she's like, it's not for me. All right, so that's, I mean, we pretty much encompassed the edge just then. Is there anything else that we need to acknowledge?
Well,
when it comes
I
to the
mean,
edge?
I did share on the podcast once about how when you get the clue that everybody opens together, I posed the strategy of just booking it, just start running in a direction and open the clue and read it. But I just want to backtrack on that. And we saw this episode how they are all talking about the clue. And so, like, maybe it is fine to just stay back and maybe someone will say something that'll help you figure out the clue.
I mean, look at what Danny and Parvati did.
And look at what Rick Devens did when he solved the map that folded over and the holes lined up. And he accidentally said that in front of everybody. So he gave away something and he knew it was stupid. So maybe it's good to just hang around and see if anybody drops something.
It's true.
It's good for you.
I think my tactic is just make sure you don't lose sight of anyone.
Ooh.
You know, like if somebody goes off, just make sure that you can see them. And as soon as they go out of sight, it's probably time to leave.
Yeah. But major props to Parv and Danny working together to figure out that clue. That was amazing.
I also think that Danny is not getting enough credit in these episodes. Last week, she was the second female to get to that end point. This week, she was the person technically who came up with the method to figure out this clue.
Yep.
Whether she had the information or not is something else. She was the one that put the plans into place. So I'm happy that Danny's out there, honestly, because I think that without that, Parvati would not have figured that out.
I know. But yep. And then Parv gets the confessional. I did something.
Yeah. Well, I mean, technically, like she's the dean in the Tommy and Dean scenario.
Wow.
You know? Like we're going back to last season. Tommy is complaining about being colorblind, gives all of the information to Dean, figures that out on his own anyway. But Dean comes up with the last thing, gets the advantage, the idol, whatever it was, and has that one up on Tommy. However, Tommy's the one that ends up winning the season. So, it's like
Danny, winner of Survivor Winners at War. You heard
I'm
it here
here
first.
for it. I'm absolutely here for it. However, so we see the Aubrey moment. Aubrey keeps on getting shout outs in this season. As
I know, it's so good.
Players. And it's like, and that was the season that she did poorly. I mean, out of her seasons, a lot of people say that The Edge of Extinction is the season that Aubrey performed not the best.
Yeah, she didn't go the farthest. Yeah.
Right. However, she's still getting shout outs for that one.
She's iconic. You can't deny that Aubrey really is a game changer.
I know, that's fair. But in saying that, we've got all of these people on this island. We flick back over. It's challenge time. And
reward challenge, nonetheless.
Right. Okay, so, sorry, quickly. A couple weeks ago, I went back to watch an episode of Survivor.
Okay.
The thumbnail on the website is a picture of Tony pulling back a slingshot with a red sandbag in it, releasing it.
What?
Yeah.
We have not seen that challenge.
No, we have not seen that challenge. However, this is the thumbnail for like episode 6 or 7. I'm like, why are you using thumbnails for challenges that we never saw take place?
Because there's reward challenges happening, in case anybody doesn't know. There's reward challenges happening that we don't get to see on the show.
Right. Now, we can assume that this is prior to... Well, actually, he stayed on the Red Tribe the whole time, didn't he? He didn't actually change color buffs.
I don't think he did.
Yeah. So it could have taken place with the original group. It could have taken place with the second group. But there was a slingshot challenge. Tony was using a slingshot. There was a reward involved, obviously, but we never saw the challenge. And they've used the footage, and it's killing me inside because I need to see this challenge. And we know that we're not going to see it in a future episode. I think that we discussed in last season, they were using rewards from like episode 3 and episode 6 and just not showing footage of certain contestants that had been already voted out. Like it was...
Oh, yeah, that was a mess.
Right. So it's just kind of like their editing is very interesting. But there might have been like the episodes where it actually took place. There was too much information that will... Oh, it's a great challenge. Just put it in a later episode. and let's just not show footage of this.
So random.
Yeah.
I loved this reward challenge. What did you think about this one? The
So
fish on the net and
So
the
we've seen the
puzzle.
fish on the net before. We've seen this puzzle before. The most interesting thing for me was the fact that it was a schoolyard pick.
Yeah, that really is
Jeremy.
Oh yeah. That was the most thrilling part of it to me, to find out who the teams were.
And the thing for me is when I saw that it was separated between men and women, I was like, the women are going to win. Like,
you knew it.
Because there's something about, like, you've got Michelle and Sophie on the puzzle, and they've been the puzzle people for their tribes the whole time, right?
Yep. You could say that the puzzle's laid down for them like lovers.
Oh my goodness.
Do you know what I'm quoting? Oh gosh, now I sound like a creep.
Yeah.
I am literally quoting Debbie.
The puzzle
from
pieces laid down for them like lovers.
She said in a confessional, Debbie in Co-Wrong says, puzzle. Yeah, never mind.
No, I mean, I love a Debbie moment. You know I love a good Debbie moment.
But when you don't know it's Debbie and I just say it, man, wow. That was a risk I took right there.
That's so funny. Well, this is the thing. I love that you have a lot more new school knowledge than I do, because you'll still catch me off guard. That's why we're here, you know? This is my yang. But lays down like lovers. I loved
when they won and like Ben is in the middle and all the girls are hugging from the outside. Did you catch that part? That was hysterical.
Well, I mean, it reminds us of the Argo tribe hugging in the rain. You know?
Oh yeah,
so cute.
It's all huddled up.
Army Adam on the outside protecting us. But I thought it was very interesting that they had like Sarah, Kim, and Ben swimming, brute force, absolute like beasts. And then you look at the other side. They had Tyson. They had Tyson. They had Adam, and they had Tony. Okay. A weird three to do the swimming portion, in my opinion. I mean, we've already seen Adam struggling at a water challenge with the jumping and all that kind of stuff, and just completely getting exhausted when he had to try and get the boy with the key.
Yeah, what do you think? Why would Adam not be on a puzzle? That's
right. And put Jeremy in the water. I mean, Jeremy was on the puzzle. Like that for me was like, I just think that he should have been the brute force in the water. Because the thing is, when they had
what was going on there?
When they held those heavy fish pieces and they had to run them in, Adam's at the back. Tyson doesn't even have an extended arm. He's like leaning down.
Tony's in the front dragging both of the poles. So yeah.
This is like once the pieces are hooked on and they've got it all out in a line, because Tony's shorter, Adam's shorter, and then Tyson's
in the middle. Yeah.
You know, at least have Jeremy in the front, Tyson in the back, and Tony with like an extended arm or something. Like,
what in the world?
It just seemed like weird pairings for me. I feel like if they had to put the pieces together better in their brain, they would have been able to put the pieces together.
Yeah, I totally want to know the thinking behind all that.
And just quickly, what do you think was the reasoning behind leaving Denise completely out of the challenge?
Yeah, why she wasn't picked? She's a brute force.
Yeah. Like, I would have preferred to have her in the water than Adam, honestly.
Does this show that, Adam, sorry, I'm like thinking all over the place.
No, but here's the thing.
Are people hiding their relationship with Denise, or is Denise kind of on the outs?
My question is, was it Kim who picked every member, or was it the person that she picked who picked the next person?
Exactly. We've seen it both ways during reward challenges.
So I guess that's
who would have picked Adam? Why does Adam get picked
for the puzzle portion, and then they didn't put him?
They didn't even put him on there.
Well, if it was Jeremy's pick,
I could totally see Jeremy trying to hide his Denise connection. I could see him picking Adam over Denise to hide that he's close with Denise.
I think it did.
Jeremy so would do that.
Well, here's the other thing, though. Jeremy did say after the challenge that he wanted to talk to Nick. So maybe he feels good with Denise, and whoever wins the challenge, win or lose, you're going to be spending time with these people.
Yeah.
So he's like, I need to be keeping Adam with me. I don't want him hanging out with those other guys. So maybe it was a strategic play on Jeremy being like, who do I want to have around me when it comes to win or lose when it comes to the challenge?
Yep.
And he's
he's thinking next level.
But he didn't need the reward. Because so we know that the red tribe loses the challenge, obviously. And then he gets pissed off, not because Sarah gives Nick a reward because it's his birthday, but because Jeremy wanted to talk to Nick. And I'm like,
oh, but did we hear that in the episode, or is that what you're thinking? We heard that in the episode.
Jeremy's like, Sarah gives her reward to Nick, and I'm like, Sarah, I wanted to talk to Nick. What are you doing? That was his confessional.
I missed that. Wow.
And so in my mind, I'm like, wait, Jeremy, but if he ended up on the other tribe, you wouldn't have been able to. But if he picked Nick, which wasn't necessarily expressed in that confessional, it makes more sense.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Tony tells Sarah it was a bad move to give her reward to Nick. I mean, was there any, and I really thought we were going to get a confessional from Sarah telling us that I did that to get on Nick's good side, but we didn't. We got a confessional of her saying that she was using her emotions. And
well, here's the thing. We got a confessional very similar to Sarah at the merge feast. And I expressed how it was really nice. We were just seeing them all kind of unite and have time off from the game. And Sarah's taken this approach again at this challenge. But it's funny because she gets questioned about it at the challenge. She looks a little kind of awkward, kind of it's, it was his birthday and I want to make sure that I don't feel sick, blah, blah, blah. Just kind of weaving some story. We know that this is just kind of an uncomfortable moment for Sarah. She's probably questioning in that moment, oh my gosh, did I do the wrong thing? And I think later on she has to kind of just solidify, no, I made my choice.
Yeah.
This is what it is. Here's my confessional. I need to be a human being. I want my kids back home to see what it means to be a good person. Mm-hmm. And, we didn't vote him out on his birthday, but we definitely blindsided him.
Yeah. So she felt bad. I mean, that's what the story is. I don't think it was a good move.
Sandra felt bad too. And Sandra went home.
Yeah. It's just in this game, you just don't play with your emotions. You have to be completely cerebral. And like what I said when I complained about Parv buying food, you got to be thinking about yourself and that $2 million.
So I premised to you before we started recording, I said, I've got a lot to talk about based off of feelings.
Oh,
not opinions necessarily, but feelings. There is a strategic way to look at the game of Survivor, but this episode brought up so many feelings. And I think that this season is really being dominated by feelings, which we haven't seen in a long time. We've seen a lot of gameplay. And
for this season, who knew we were going to get that?
Right. And I think it's because everybody understands the weight of it. It's we've all won. We all have a legacy to uphold. We all care about one another. We all know what we've been through. We all understand what's going on in everybody's brain. We've all got a story. We all got here for the same reasons. So how can I separate myself from you? You're not the asshole who doesn't know how to be social, who doesn't know how to be strategic, who doesn't know how to play this game. I can't use
the people they're used to playing, that they played their winning game against.
Right. So they're I don't care about you. You're a non-entity. But these people are not non-entities. These people end up on an island where they get to voice their opinion on these people. They get to talk to the jury who votes for them at the end. This is what the Edge does to people. And I question if we still would have as many feelings if the Edge did or didn't exist.
Interesting. For people still in the game and for people on the Edge?
Well, obviously we wouldn't see the people on the Edge because they'd be doing their own thing, right?
Right.
But then you've got the people in the game who are understanding, I can't screw these people over. You'll set it at his tribal council. He's I want to vote you out and have you give me your fire tokens. Not only that, you're going to be going to an island with but people I voted out who are making up a jury to vote for me to win at the end. It is really kind of playing a different, and they're getting updates. They're getting not only updates at tribal council, they're getting updates from the people that were voted out.
Mm-hmm.
What he said at tribal council was a lie. It didn't happen. I've got nothing to lose. I'm out of the game. It's just, it adds a whole different element to the game. And I think we saw feelings really play up after the, I guess we should talk about the immunity challenge.
I mean, it was
pretty straightforward.
Pretty straightforward. The best part was Ben doing some type of robot move with his arm to help him balance. I
Getting
don't know
him
how it
balanced.
worked or why it worked, but if you see me out there, I'm going to be using my arms like that, trying to stay in.
Yeah, absolutely. You don't want to rock the boat.
Pun intended.
Right. But were we expecting to see Kim win that one? I don't think I was.
No, I wasn't. I thought that the shorter people would have done the best.
Lower
I do
gravity.
gotta, I think I've talked about this probably several times on the podcast, but positive self-talk is where it's at. That's what I learned from when we played Survivor, that I just had the worst self-talk in my head of like, oh gosh, this is gonna be hard. I don't think I'm gonna be able to do this. Oh, I'm gonna suck at this. So that was my horrible self-talk. And I've learned since to just like, really when you're going into something, like I played kickball with my church. And I was so nervous, and the ball is rolling at me because it's my turn to kick, and I'm like, oh my God. And I was like, I mean, I was able to kick it, but I had positive self-talk, like I can do this. I was being funny about it too.
Okay, good.
Like I was just like talking to myself, like you got it.
And you need to do that. You need to be your own cheerleader.
If you caught this, Kim was telling herself, don't get distracted. And we heard her at the end. She was saying, stay. And it was so cool that she was like talking herself.
Yeah. And I mean,
it worked.
It's that positive reinforcement. It's that like belief in yourself. It's like,
I can.
Right. It's the, what is it? The little train that could or whatever.
I think I can.
Yes. So here's the thing. So we see the immunity challenge play out. We have a very fun moment from Jeff Probst saying that Jeremy has the weirdest dismount that they've ever seen, and we see three of them sitting, like Denise, Michelle, just like chuckling there, and it was just, and Tyson.
What I thought of with my mom? We thought of Lauren Beck from last season when they were doing that immunity challenge where they were hanging over the water, and it was endurance, like they were on a rope and they were hanging, and she like, it was time, she was about to drop and she was like terrified. She's like, I don't want to drop. Not that Jeremy was scared, but just still that same like
yeah. And then was it her who was terrified to jump and then did like the worst dismount into the water, and we're like
smacked?
Yeah, there was somebody who was just like, oh no, they screamed as they jumped off.
Yeah.
Was it her?
I'm pretty sure it was her, because I don't think it was Karishma. I think it was Lauren, wasn't it?
Yeah, and she jumped off and she like screamed, and everybody was like, that was a bit dramatic.
Yeah, so Jeremy was dramatic, but it was hysterical.
Or she screamed and then jumped.
Yeah.
It was something so bizarre. But no, I completely forgot about that. I've been watching this season going, I want to watch previous seasons. And I actually thought about it in this challenge. Okay. So we've seen this challenge before, right? But if we go back to season 23, all right? Okay. Sophie played in season 23. The challenges have changed dramatically in 17 seasons, right?
Yeah. Like explain more, like what has changed.
Okay. So we didn't see a lot of these like individual challenge to this degree. Like a lot of the immunity challenge we saw like competition based, not endurance based. So like the challenge that Sophie won against Ozzy was that one where everybody starts on a podium. They each have their own puzzle station, but they have to travel out to these other stations, get the bag of puzzles and
do a task to get to there, then come back.
Right.
Yeah.
And you're running around each other. It's like this whole thing. We saw mazes where people were blindfolded, had to find their way around a maze, untie puzzle pieces. Like the immunity portion when it comes to the individual game has drastically changed when it comes to
the first like 5 challenges in these merges have always, for lately have been endurance challenges.
Yeah.
And I was actually thinking when we were watching this one, I was thinking like, oh, I miss the the high intense ones, which we usually don't get till final 6, final 5, but once we start getting all those.
Right. But now that I think about it, a lot of these individual immunity challenges, people don't have the ability to affect another person's outcome. So like, in those other challenges, like the one with Sophie, like if you were going to a leg where that's where your last puzzle piece is, but the person who's running it is taking too long, you have to wait. Like that was kind of like you had to have the strategy. Which one am I going to go for first? How am I going to make this happen? Like the mazes, you can run into someone and they can be an obstacle in your way. Like we're not seeing that anymore. We're seeing
and those are more like definitely mental challenges rather than the like just straight up endurance.
Yeah. And it's like, so for me, it's just kind of like, I'm missing the massive mazes where they come into the middle and then they have to make a ladder that they get to the top and get the fire and then they win. Like that for me seemed a little more survivable, than, and I mean, let's just go back to heroes versus villains. Final four, maze challenge, blindfolded. Everybody is at that final thing. You've got Jerry, you've got Parvati, and you've got Russell. The three of them are in the last portion of it, trying to find this. They had to grab the idol.
Oh,
and
yeah, they were all trying to find.
Screaming, because you don't want it to be Russell. And
yeah, Jerry got it, right?
No, Russell got it.
Oh, Russell got it? Oh.
Jerry was that close, and then they voted her out.
Yeah, that's why.
And we wanted Jerry at the end.
We wanted Jerry to have it.
Could you imagine Jerry at the end of that season? That would have been the biggest redemption story.
Sheesh. That season made me love Jerry. I loved Jerry.
Right. Going off the end of All Stars,
where she got booed off the stage.
Yeah, well, she got booed and then refused to go back on stage and then asked for the $1 million because she didn't know that there was a $1 million episode happening the next episode, where a second million was getting awarded to somebody else.
Oh gosh, what?
Remember when they had the America's Choice, and that's when Rupert won his $1 million. Just because we've all forgotten that even happened. Rupert won $1 million.
Yeah,
I forgot. We've seen him play again since then, and I'm like, Rupert. Oh wait, he already got his $1 million.
He's already a winner.
Yeah, so we got sidetracked. Where are we at? Okay, immunity challenge happens. We go back to camp.
And then all hell breaks loose.
Glitter falls from the sky.
Glitter.
And it's
so I kind of tracked the sequence of events.
Yes, tell me. Let's go.
First up, we get Kim talking about with the group. All right, we're splitting on Nick and Adam, which, spoiler alert, is the plan at the end of this all. They don't super split, but a couple votes get put on Nick. Okay.
Can I interject? I found it very fascinating that Kim felt confident enough to be bringing something to the table. It's also because she had immunity.
Yep.
But this is the first time Kim talks like she's been a part of this big group the whole time. No, lady.
She's been on the outs forever.
Yeah, and she's like, we've got these smaller groups on the outs. I'm like, yeah, but what happens when they're all gone? Then it's you. Like, are you thinking? Like, you've just won immunity. You're clearly a challenge threat. Like, it really made me question where her head's at in this game. She's had a lot of very questionable moments this season.
Yeah. Man, I love it. What I texted our group at the beginning of this whole segment is I think I said, or maybe I might have done it before the episode, but I said that I think that someone is going to scoop up the Michelle, Nick, Adam group and go and vote someone else out. I thought someone was going to make a move, but it didn't happen. Sense. I know. So like what you're saying about Kim, like maybe Kim should be thinking that way.
Yeah.
But she says she doesn't have a relationship with Nick. She doesn't trust Adam. And we haven't seen anything with her and Michelle. Yeah. So then we get Nick telling Tyson that Sophie is putting Tyson's name out. Complete lie. Mm-hmm. I mean, we didn't see any of that.
Before that, when Kim was talking to the group about putting the votes, let's split it between Nick and Adam. Then I caught this the second time. Ben says, well, should we just be splitting up Nick and Michelle? And Kim goes,
totally missed that.
Yeah, and then Michelle's like, so we just split the votes between them? And he's like, yeah. He's like, all right. And
he was protecting Adam?
This is what I caught. And I was like, wait, what? So whether Ben actually enjoys Adam or not, he clearly thought that Adam was a number for him in some degree. Because then Kim expresses, I would rather see Nick leave. He's the person who needs to go. So it really didn't affect her plans whether it's Adam or Michelle that gets the votes put on them. She wanted Nick gone, right?
Yeah. Can we jump on this Ben and Adam relationship? I have so many thoughts on this, on the Ben Adam thing. And here's what I think. They're so clearly brothers out there, brothers that annoy the crap out of each other.
Right.
Here's my hypothesis of how this relationship got fractured. Like they're working together, but they don't want to be working together, but they need each other.
Yeah.
And but here's what probably happened. Mm-hmm. I think that, at the beginning of their friendship or alliance-ship or whatever, I I think that Ben probably had some type of ego trip or, just like telling Adam what to do, and which Adam probably didn't like.
Sure.
But a really smooth Survivor player would have just fed Ben's ego and would have just, oh yeah, great. Really been a social player.
Yeah.
But I don't think Adam could do that. So I bet that when Ben was saying something or doing something, I bet that Adam snapped back at him. And then that makes Ben snap back because, as Adam said, Ben has a Boston Rob side to him that he doesn't want to admit. I think that it's just escalated.
Okay, so the perfect example for this is going back to Ghost Island and watching Jonathan and Bradley. And when
Bradley was yelling at Jonathan about the fire.
Yeah, he's like, go and do that. And Jonathan's like, I was just, and he's like, can you do it? And he's like, okay. Like, and then everybody thought Bradley was crazy and voted out Bradley.
Yeah.
Whereas
Adam bites back. Adam bites back when he should have just sucked up.
Right.
That's what we didn't particularly see that in these episodes, but that's what I feel like is happening.
I mean, we see it enough in his confessionals, and we've seen him getting like water and being like, what is happening? And people like, we know Adam, like Adam definitely has had some not
mistakes.
Very redeeming moments of like,
and I know people who are so annoyed by him.
I've come full circle with Adam this season.
Yeah.
I started out
related with him a ton.
This episode more than ever. Oh my God. Like, this is the middle point of the game where this stuff happens. Like, for me, I'm that type of person that if I can't get past the middle of the game, there's no chance. Like, It's like, this is usually when people kind of put their numbers together. Who's got a better chance of getting to the end? Who has the best chance of manipulating people? Tyson talks to Kim. Adam was able to kind of flip this. Now we're going for Sarah. Nick is the one that's saying, who would you say? Like, Nick was talking to who? Tony?
Tyson, and telling Tyson that Sophie threw him out there.
That's right. He was throwing Sophie's name under the bus now, which is funny because, I mean, Nick was working with Sophie early on, but we've already established that Sophie's completely cut ties with the people she was working on early in the game. So she's no longer attached to any of those boys, Wendell, Yul, or Nick. She's like, I'm out. And so he feels confident enough to be throwing her name out. Tyson gets to Kim and says, look, Adam's able to do this. So then Kim's on board with this whole, we've got to get Adam out. So then she's like, all right, we're back to the original plan. Then, I mean, who was it? Jeremy. Watching Jeremy kind of be not in on any other conversation, but just reacting to everyone was actually kind of iconic.
Yeah, it was amazing editing. Him just sitting on that bench, and every time someone told him a new name, he was like, what? Huh?
But like, legitimately, like, what is happening? And it kind of, I loved it because it meant that Jeremy wasn't driving the vote.
Yep.
Because you know that I don't necessarily want to see him in a power position.
Right.
I like seeing people use him for
and
their
it's probably
own
not
benefit.
smart for him to do that, yeah.
Right. So he's laying low right now, but I really wish that it would just mean that they would come for him, because we said that he's in trouble now, but he wasn't in trouble this episode. Why is that? I don't know. Why is Sarah not in trouble? Her name came up by one person and everybody protected her. She did everything that Adam was saying. She went against all of her allies. She was the person I was rooting for her last season. The fact that I'm not rooting for her this season just is very interesting for me, because I was such a Sarah fan in Game Changers. And I'm like, why aren't I rooting for her? And it's like, because there's so many iconic people that watching her win another All-Star season, like, I know I need to see.
Don't they know better? Don't they know not to let her get far? This is crazy.
Well, Sarah and Jeremy both won All-Star seasons, right?
Yeah.
Returning contestant seasons. So
I was actually thinking about Jeremy, like his reactions, how he's sitting on the bench and going, what? Huh? And I just think that it's funny. I think he's just like laughing while he's sitting there, because like, this is normal for him, because he played Second Chances, one of the craziest seasons. And was that where voting blocks came out of? The Stephen Fishback called it voting blocks. And I just like, Jeremy's been through this crazy fluidity. But then again, in tribal council, he says that this is the craziest he's ever seen it. But, this isn't his first rodeo.
No. And it's funny because he actually, have you seen the article where Dalton Ross asks everybody who the best player to not win the game is?
No, I have not read it. I saw a little tag for it,
Okay,
though.
so Jeremy actually said he's like, I'm going to get a lot of grief for this, but I think that Spencer is probably the best person to never.
I can see that.
Say. And he's like, he's such a good player, which I think is really kind of like redeeming for him to say it, be it that he took Spencer to the end and sat next to him.
Yeah.
But also like Spencer was so torn up by the series and that season that he actually didn't watch it play out.
Oh, he didn't even watch it back?
No, he was at the finale. He goes, I haven't watched the season. He goes, I didn't.
He made it far both of the seasons. Spencer made it so far.
So he's a great player. A majority of the people said Suri and Aubrey.
Yeah, I mean that makes sense to me.
My hands down pick.
Me too.
Best. But for Jeremy to say Spencer, I thought that was really interesting. Maybe he's kind of taking a leaf out of Spencer's book in terms of kind of like laying low, playing up his social game. Like, is there stuff that he learned from playing with Spencer? Even though he beat Spencer, like, is he trying to like use that kind of thing to his advantage? Do you remember
who Ben said in that article?
Ben said Ryan from his own season.
I was wondering the way you talked about Jeremy and Spencer. I know that Ben loves Ryan Ulrich. Anybody remembers the guy with the turtleneck?
Yeah, he said Ryan and Chrissy. He's like, I know I'm biased. He goes, but the two of them were really incredible players.
Yeah.
But a lot of other people picked different people. So yeah. All right, so where are we up to? We've got
I brought up the tribal council about how Jeremy says at tribal council that it's the craziest he's ever seen it. Yes. Do you want to talk about? So we talked about the Ben and Adam thing. Do you want to talk about tribal council and?
So the first question is directed at Sarah, and Sarah says, "Oh no, this is an individuals game right now," and it was really nice to hear that because technically speaking, since we've gotten to the merge. We haven't seen it be based off of tribes. The only tribes that were left out were the Sele tribe in the form of Wendell, Nick, and Michelle. And not necessarily because they were in a tribe together, but because they were possibly the closest alliance out of those tribes.
It really has come down to, in my opinion, partnerships. I think people, but that's how Survivor works, the relationships you have, but it's really the people who have the closest bond. We see Kim tell Denise, like, yeah, I'm cool with getting out Sarah, immediately cut to Tyson. No, let's not do Sarah. Like, that's who she's the closest with. Sarah and Tyson are really close.
Are they,
Tyson and Kim they're really close outside of Survivor.
Since playing.
Yes.
So at this point, did she have any allegiance to him, or is all of her allegiance to Tony?
I meant Tony when I said Sarah and Tony.
You said Tyson. That's
right. Oh gosh. Well, it's got a lot of the same letters going on there.
No, that's fair. That's absolutely valid. But
I was like, don't you know that they've been close since playing Kagaya?
They played 3 seasons together.
Haven't we talked about this?
I was definitely confused.
The partnerships going on I think that's what's driving everything.
Right. And I just think that like even seeing Denise this episode, because spoiler alert, Adam gets voted out, unfortunately. We'll talk about that. But I looked back at the votes because there was 2 votes for Nick, and I was like, I need to find out who this other vote was. Was it Ben? Did Ben hold up his end of his deal saying he wasn't going to vote for Adam?
Was it?
Well, no, it was Denise.
Oh.
Yeah. So Ben says, I'm not voting for you, and then he votes him out. So
he was done with Adam. He was done.
Everything Adam was saying at Tribal Council. Oh my gosh. So Adam is like, I'm like geeking out about Adam in this episode because this was the game that I wanted to see. This is the player that I love to watch. Like, he was calling it as he saw it. He wasn't letting the pressure of other people get to him the same way that Ben lets the pressure of other people get to him. We even see Rob in the jury saying Ben's paranoid. You see Wendell pointing when Adam's talking about, well, why did Wendell vote for me last episode? Why did, Nick vote for me last night? And Wendell's like, yeah. Like, everyone, like, people on the jury were really behind Adam and his statements.
And do you know why Adam was being so ballsy?
Because he thought if there was an idol and he thought he was safe.
Instead of that whole argument with Ben, instead of that where everybody else is solidifying the plan and Michelle's making sure she's in the middle of everything, Nick is doing his work, Adam is playing ballsy because he thinks he has an idol. And that was just the straw that broke the camel's back.
But not only that, like you watched Adam get isolated. which was devastating for me because I've
Oh, I
been in that
know.
situation. And like,
Yep.
he goes up to Sophie and he says, Sophie, I
Oh,
don't feel good. And she's like, I think you
I
should
think
feel
you're
fine.
fine. Oh,
And then he
ugh.
goes up to Ben. Ben, are you voting for me? No, I'm not. Jeremy, who are we voting for? Who are you voting for? Screw you, Jeremy. As if he can say, I'm going to round up a group of people right now in this moment. No, let me in on your plan. Clearly, you don't have a plan, and now you're putting it on me. Then Tony has the audacity to turn around and say, we all have to, what, do you want to just talk about it? We have to go up there. That's where we vote. I'm like, Tony, you're an asshole. You're an absolute asshole.
Yeah, because they didn't know what to do to lie to Adam.
They were all getting called out. Every single one of them in front of that jury.
And they didn't. And then Adam goes, what are we going to do? And they're like, well, what are you going to do? He's like, it doesn't matter what I do.
Yeah.
Like, instead of doing that.
I don't have a vote.
They just really got caught up in not playing that lie really well. Like Sophie. I mean, but Sophie's lie was easier. Like, I think you should feel fine.
Yeah.
But Tony and Jeremy should have said, like, put Nick down. We're doing Nick.
Right. At least
which I'm
something.
I'm kind of pissed that that now that you've told us who voted for Nick, which obviously one of them was Adam, I really wish he would have gone for someone else instead of Nick, in case that really was an idol and he could have taken out someone else, not Nick.
Wait.
I mean, it would have been tied on.
Did he vote for Sarah?
I have not gone back to look at the votes.
No, I thought there was 2 votes. Oh, wait.
Was there a vote for Sarah?
Okay. So
then there was Adam.
So then it was. Oh, wait. I need to make sure because there was 2 votes for Nick. So was it Ben? Like,
So what sucks is that we're not seeing. Typically, at the end of Survivor episodes, we see this vote breakdown. But we don't see that because we have to go see the Edge, which I kind of love, and I love seeing Adam say "screw you guys" to all the bequeathing boxes. Ooh, bequeathing boxes.
Well, look at you. Guess who the second vote for Nick was from?
Was it Ben?
Nope.
Was it Sophie?
No. It's the last person you'd expect because they received a vote from Adam.
Oh, Sarah?
Mm-hmm.
You know why she did that?
Because she gave him a reward and she needed to make it look like she wasn't trying to please him.
No, I think she didn't know that Denise was not going to vote Nick. I think Sarah was protecting herself. That classic, if you know all the votes are going on one person and you're scared that that person might be voting for you, you throw a vote on someone else in case there's a tie. We saw Devin Pinto was really the originator of this strategy. I don't know if he's the originator, but he's the one who did this, who it actually saved him. So we've seen him actually do this successfully when he saved himself from getting idled out by I think almost last minute doing this. So Devin Pinto.
Say this tribal council idol was a real thing, which I think we all in our heart of hearts desperately wanted it to be that.
I was texting people like, oh, please God, please let this be an idol.
And the thing is, like, I still think it was a great move. You see something like that and you have the ability to protect yourself potentially, do it. Jump on it.
So you should go see what I retweeted on Twitter, everybody, is I retweeted what Adam tweeted about why he thought that was an idol, and it was exactly what I was thinking about. Djon, I don't know if you've seen Survivor South Africa, have you?
No, I have not.
It is, I believe it is season 6. I watched it on YouTube.
I've heard that's the season you have to watch. Apparently that's incredible.
It's one of my favorite seasons of Survivor ever.
Okay.
It was amazing, and I'm not going to really talk about who or what.
Yeah, don't, because I want to watch it.
Yeah, but there was an idol at Tribal, and someone had to go pick it up in front of everybody. And it is not out of the realm of possibility at all. And while I was watching it, I was like, Adam has so seen this episode. I'm sure he has. And so Djon, don't go look at my tweet because he has a clip of it, because it's a clip of it happening. But Adam tweets like the clip and says, this is what I was thinking of. And I'm just so proud of him. He is our resident super fan. Yes. And these are the people I love to watch Survivor, the people who are so geeky about Survivor.
Yeah. But here's the thing. It's like everybody who's like, that was the stupidest moment I've ever seen. I'm like, if it worked, you wouldn't think he's so stupid. Like,
as Adam said when he got his torch snuffed, he said, it was worth a shot. And Jeff responded with one word.
Absolutely.
Always.
Right? Always. Okay.
Always.
I was like, it was an A word. I'm just making a little more fabulous.
Absolutely. Jeff would never. Oh, I guess he could say absolutely. I could see him saying absolutely.
Just a little more bro-y.
Yeah.
Just a little. But, okay, so we do need to... Okay, so we've talked about the Adam-Ben thing. We've seen the jury's reactions. I don't think Ben has very many fans in the jury.
No,
I really don't. The way that Tony talked to Adam, just like everybody belittled him so much to the point that Adam still didn't let them get him down. And he said, so then what's the plan? And no one looked at him. Tony was looking dead straight ahead.
And I'm sure the jury hates seeing that.
And then he just looked and he went, okay. Like Adam did everything in his power. Mm-hmm. He had logic in everything that he said. Like he wasn't talking out of his ass. He had the most...
But the problem was that he was being too ballsy, and he should have been in those whispers, and he should have been humble to try to do something else rather than fight with Ben while everybody else is arguing.
But whispering. Question, here's my thing. Was he always the vote? Would it have been him anyway? Because in my mind... So he was doing what you said Nick should have done.
Oh man!
Throwing somebody else under the bus, so you can't change your tact now.
But
Hannah.
Here's the thing: was Adam throwing someone under the bus, or was he just arguing with Ben?
No, he said I don't trust Ben because Ben's been telling me yada yada. So he was giving off that. Well, Ben's a really bad liar, you guys.
Mm-hmm. But he should have been going for someone else that easily could have been. If he's going to do it at tribal council to save himself, you know.
Well, he didn't have anything against Nick. Nick's on the outs. Like
I know.
Like, he did what
he should have been going for Sarah. If he's going to vote for Sarah, he just really banked on that idol.
I just don't think that there was anything else he could have done. Mm-hmm. I think him being quiet, he would have gone home. Like he literally was just doing his last ditch efforts. I don't think that this was what made him go home. I think he was always going home.
I think a lot of people hated Adam's point of view in that argument with Ben, but I was like all for Adam. I'm like, tell him Adam. Like I thought that Ben came out looking awful. Although people at home watching find Adam super annoying, I don't. I found him entertaining. I thought his confessionals were amazing. He had the best confessionals so far.
Here's the thing. I also had a moment of when he got voted out, I was like, could we see Adam come back into the game?
Oh, man.
Because we saw so many confessionals from him.
Yeah.
And they've been so entertaining. But the thing is, it's like, will he be able to hold his own in an immunity challenge, like to come back into the game against all of those people?
I'm already so excited for it. Oh, you know what we should talk about before we end is we should talk about Michelle's advantage. She got her 50-50 flip. We totally forgot to talk about that.
Her side of it.
My drop your buff moment was that she paid 4 tokens for that thing.
That's what I was going to say.
I had no idea that it would ask that much of her.
I was like, they can't ask for 4 tokens, and they did, and she paid it.
Yep.
That was
the fortune cookie told her to.
Dropping. Yeah. I mean, my drop your buff moments was tribal council, the blow up between Adam and Ben. Yeah. I was here for it because I needed to see it play out. You know, I needed to see Ben being taken down a peg because, you know, Ben did what? Okay, so like, Boston Rob went up to Danny and said, did you say this?
Yeah, and she owned up to it.
Boston Rob got that information from Ben because Ben ratted her out.
Yeah.
Adam wasn't willing to rat somebody out the same way that Ben was willing to rat someone out. And in my mind, that means that Adam's more of a loyal player. In saying that, it was also Adam who said it. So he wasn't willing to just throw somebody else under the bus.
Also, if you go back and watch that clip of him lying to Ben, he looks to the left so many times, and that's like one of those key things that someone's lying to you is they can't make eye contact. I thought it was the left. Oh gosh. All right, let's Google. Which direction do you look when you're lying?
We've been using Google a lot in this podcast, and that's okay. I'm here for it because we're so excited about it.
Many psychologists believe that when a person looks to their right, they're likely to be telling a lie. Glancing up to the left is to indicate honesty. But the experts are wrong, according to Professor Wiseman. Wait, that sounds like a fake professor. That's not real. What am I reading?
Professor Wiseman.
Professor Wiseman.
Yeah, I call me Professor Survivor Genius, and then just believe everything I say when it comes to Survivor.
The point is that he was lying.
Oh gosh. Anyway, that's going to be something that we'll have to deal with. In saying that, it was a hard conversation to watch. It really was a hard conversation to watch because if you're Ben, you do ask the question, but the way that he put Adam in a position,
they had a rocky foundation. They did not have a good foundation to even be doing this on.
Yeah.
They already find each other so annoying.
Right. I just think that there's ways that you can do it and still have some like redeeming qualities about it. Like if Ben said, Adam, people are telling me that you're putting my name out. I'm not doing that. Okay. I'm just telling you what other people are saying. If you're not saying that, that's fine. I'm just going off of the 7 other people. So
exactly. And that comes back to what I think about the Ben and Adam relationship is that Ben goes on, I mean, I love Ben, but he goes on this like ego trip.
Yeah.
And,
it's really bad.
And Adam bites back instead of just playing the card. And you know what
kind of player is Ben? He's an emotional player.
He really is. And Adam talked about his winning game of Millennials versus Gen X that he played with a lot of truth, that he would just tell people straight up. And you know what? If you think about this season, we saw him doing a lot of lying or doing too much going on, and that cost him the game.
Yeah, it's really interesting because I can almost see Ben getting taken to the end now as somebody who's not gonna win.
Yeah. And you know what? I wonder if Tony might also be that type of person from the negative stuff we're seeing at Tribal with Tony. Like that is a weird world we live in if Tony is a losing finalist.
Tony's turning into a bit of a Brad Culpepper, in my opinion.
Wow. But I mean, I think props to Tony for... No, I didn't either. Yeah, Tony's...
And Sarah's already sat next to Brad Culpepper before. If she sits next to Tony, she could win this damn thing.
Oh, man. Yeah. Okay, do you want to talk about scenes from next week? Next week on Survivor.
Hannah cries over and over and over.
In the scenes from next week, I didn't know it was going to be Loved Ones until I saw an ad for it.
Right. No, I didn't either. I really didn't get much out of it.
All we saw was Jeremy says he wants to split up Sarah and Sophie to Tony. But then Tony tells someone, do you want to blindside Jeremy? Kim tells Denise that she's willing to go to the edge making a move. And Sarah tells Tony, this is a crucial decision. So we got nothing. Nope. We just got people calling out other people. Anyways.
My question is, was that Tony putting a plan together to take out Jeremy, or was he questioning somebody else's plan? You know, like, was it so do you want to vote out Jeremy?
Oh, so do you want to blindside Jeremy? Yeah, exactly. Right. I think maybe Tony might be doing it to save Sarah. He wants to save Sarah.
But he needs to be careful of his big boys. Like, you know, they've only got each other. And you know what's really interesting? It's a even split again. We've got 5 women and 5 men.
Oh, cool. And we have Michelle can use her 50-50 advantage up to 7 people. So she's got 3 more tribals to use that thing.
Sarah's got an extra vote still.
Kim has an idol.
Sophie's got an idol.
Oh my gosh, this is...
Sophie does still have an idol, right?
Yeah, Sophie and Kim have idols.
What is Jeremy's advantage? Jeremy can just leave tribal council.
Oh, yeah, he can.
We've got a lot of advantages still in the game that we forgot about.
I know.
And Tyson potentially still has peanut butter, so...
Wherever it is, he's got it. Hey, when we drop our handles... Djon, do you want to tell people about what's going on over at Twitch?
Twitch? Stop. No, I've actually taken the initiative to make a Twitch profile. While I'm indoors all day, I figured it would be fun to have an outlet where I can connect with people, especially new people. I think being in isolation, it's not necessarily about reaching out to people that you know. It's about reaching out to new people. I love making new friends. I love the podcast. I love seeing people voice their opinion, just doing all that kind of stuff. So something like Twitch has been a great way for me to just kind of like grow myself broadcast myself to the world and see who, takes the bait. I every day have been actually playing Just Dance, which is so much fun because I love to dance. It gives me all the endorphins.
Had you played it before, or is this your first time
No,
playing it?
this is my first time. So
I used to play it all the time in high school.
No, so I've never played it. I knew that existed. I didn't really, being a theater person myself and going through like professional training.
Right, you already had other dance stuff going on.
Right, and it always seemed like something that's like, will I play a video game or will I do it for an audience? Will I, try to pursue a career out of it? Now I really don't have that option. So I got Just Dance and my gosh, is that a workout. So every day I try to play Just Dance. Also, I did do what everybody else did, and I got Animal Crossing. So I've been living vicariously through my character. I am that close to designing a tribal council on my island.
Do you Twitch stream Animal Crossing when you play it? I don't understand how Twitch works. Okay.
Yeah.
Do you talk into a microphone? Do you talk? Can I hear you talk?
Yeah, I'm on the screen with the thing. So you'll just have to watch the next time I play, okay?
And so wait, okay. When you do Just Dance, could I dance at home alongside you?
Yeah. So I've got the screen.
I can get my workout in
on it. Yeah.
Okay.
So we'll do that. After this, we'll go have some food and then we'll have a dance. All right.
Okay.
But also I've decided that there's actually a lot of performers on Twitch. So what they do is they do live sets. Some people have a guitar and they'll sing along. And I've decided that I'm going to start doing some gigs. I'm doing my own gigs, and I'm going to be performing a couple nights a week.
Oh my goodness! Okay, so before you drop your handle, my question is: do these stream live? But are they also recorded?
I mean, I can record it and then go ahead and post it. I could potentially put it up on YouTube or put it up on my Twitch account.
Okay.
Like that. So
as long as I could go back. Yeah. So I'm going to subscribe so I get notified when you're going to go live. I've never played Animal Crossing, but I think it'd be funny to watch you play it.
Yeah. It's very entertaining. I had Evan watching me the other day and we were discussing my character's clothing attire. He wears a comedian's outfit.
Why did I miss this?
It was last night.
Did he come on? Were you guys talking for people to listen in?
No, he was typing. So everybody who's watching has the ability to type. So I love
how this podcast has turned into Djon teaching Hannah how Twitch works.
That's okay. I guess everybody at home is learning something. If you guys like to be entertained with people playing video games or even just singing and being entertaining, I know Alicia Keys did a set yesterday that was being sponsored by Verizon. She was just at her house playing her piano and singing live on Twitch.
Okay, that sounds amazing.
Yeah,
what's your handle?
My handle is Djon Alexander, Djon spelled D-J-O-N, Alexander spelled the traditional way. And that is also my handle for Twitter, Instagram. I'm probably going to be using Twitter more for Twitch than anything. I don't really use it. But my Instagram is definitely my place to get a lot of my information out there. I'm also on Facebook, and I also have a Facebook fan page. You can follow along as well.
Oh, yeah, you're theater fan page, right?
Yes, my theater fan page. And I also have a YouTube that I haven't posted videos to for a very, very long time. But if you want to see what I was doing in 2016, go ahead and watch.
All right, and you could find me at Hannah Julia, and maybe I'll be doing some Twitch streaming of stuff. Not really, just kidding.
That's so funny. Okay, so last week I introduced you as Hannah Julia, and I think I just am so used to it because I've got a lot of friends in the entertainment industry that go by their middle name as their last name, and I was like, Hannah, is this your stage name? Are you going by Hannah Julia?
Well, I mean, I have some friends who call me that just because it's fun, they didn't realize that my last name was actually something else, and they just thought my whole name was Hannah Julia.
Because that's the thing. Because I was like, I don't know.
It rolls off the tongue.
Right, because I introduced you, which I don't traditionally do. You usually introduce yourself, and I was like, Hannah Julia, and you're like, oh, I like it. I'm like, are we
wrong? Is that? Oh.
But I'm all for it. If you want to have a stage name, go for it.
Ooh, I love it. I am this close to creating a TikTok to put content in the universe. I'm resisting it because I am almost 30 years old, and I feel like I shouldn't be creating a TikTok as an almost 30-year-old.
I am 30 years old, and I just decided to broadcast myself playing video games. So I say, do what your heart tells you to do, because everybody will be here for it. And we all love you, Hannah. We all love watching you and listening to you on this podcast. And I want to thank you for having me be a co-star with you, because I love doing this every week. So thank you.
I know this is great. Always so fun. And I know a lot of people just reach out and tell us how much they love this podcast. So as long as we're bringing joy to some people, I mean, I enjoy this so much in the midst of the quarantine. So
yeah. All right. So the things that we need to keep in mind for next week, I need to actually put up some posts on our Instagram story prior to the episode airing. We need to make sure we do that, get our polls going, and you need to live story your reaction to the loved
Me
one
crying.
You could actually just do a live video and have it watch you the whole segment. Like, it doesn't have to be stories. It's up to you.
Nothing like being extremely vulnerable on Instagram.
I am here for it. I love it. I would love to see that.
Okay. Wow. All right. Let's see if I am brave enough to do that.
You are.
Okay.
Stay. Focus.
Stay. Don't get distracted.
Focus.
All right.
She's
I'm
playing with so much fire. Such a good segment. All right.
Okay.
I love you. Thank you again.
Yep. Bye, everyone. Have a great rest of your week.
Bye.
Everybody, drop your buffs. Drop your buffs. Everybody, drop your buffs.
Drop your buffs.
Everybody, drop your buffs.